What's up, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of the Comeback Couples podcast of 2023. I'm your host, Mark Jennison, with my lovely wife,
Kendra Jennison.
I try to get her to do the intro every time, but she just likes to put in her Kendra Jennison. Yet all you ladies out there love to hear what she has to say. So keep on watching that and feeding up that algorithm because it's serving up some good numbers for us. Excuse me. We've been sitting here having poor Ryan trying to figure out for like the last hour, 30 minutes or so, trying to figure out how to get our microphones working, get everything dialed in, and it didn't work, but he keeps on trying to execute. So big ups to Ryan. Anyways, what are we going to talk about today?
I don't know.
Well, it's the first year. It's the first of the year. Like a lot's changed.
Lots changed in these past 5 days.
What has been the biggest? What has been these biggest changes? Nah, that's bullshit. Like we haven't done a podcast in.
There has actually been quite a few monumental changes in our life since the last one we did, I believe.
Let's list it. Hear it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
You went on a journey.
That we were going to talk about here a little bit.
I came into the business and kind of tweaked some things. The kids are back in school.
Thank God.
Woo!
Thank God.
What else am I missing? Those are like the biggest ones I can think of.
Yeah, I think those are the biggest ones. I think we set a lot of targets. We spent a lot of time. Intentional goal setting, which we're going to talk a little bit about today. But literally, I feel like we came into 2023 more prepared. At least I came in more prepared.
Which makes us feel more prepared.
We're missing like the biggest thing. Like our whole every year we go and we do a trip to somewhere warm because we live in Wisconsin. So we go somewhere warm and we like to plan and prep out, and we've got this mission statement, these things we do, and we ended up doing it here in Wisconsin. But like we were part of that Southwest Airlines, that flights got canceled and we got stuck. But what was cool about it was we actually used that time, or at least I used that time, where I sat for how many days? I don't know, all of them.
7 days?
7 days, working, searching, seeking, answering, writing, living, planning, preparing to execute on what we want in 2023 to come together to figure out the one massive goal that we're after. We got a lot of shit we're going to do, but the one massive goal that we're after is Project Relocate, moving our family to a second home in California. And I know a lot of people out there like, oh, fuck California. It's so bad. It's so gross. Taxes, blah, blah, blah. I hear it fucking day in and day out. But the reality is they're not making another California. Like, where can you ski,
surf,
dirt bike, skateboard, all in one day, right? So anyways, that's all we're talking about. What's been great is to be back and do this. And I know a lot of our clients on the inside have been looking forward to another episode. So we're going to give it to you today. I want you to bear with me just a little bit today because some of the things I say, we actually did one, right, Ryan? We did an episode, but then we decided to pull it back because maybe I was talking a little bit too crazy or we didn't want people to kind of know what's going on. So then I realized over the past week when I walked into the company and essentially said, fuck everyone that works for me and fuck all the clients. I'm going to start over if you don't like me. I have a new lease on life. And it's not that I don't love my people. Obviously, I just needed to love myself and put myself at the front. So we're just going to talk about what it was.
Cool. So
the topic of today's conversation is soul level connection. What are you hearing when I say that word? Like what does that mean to you?
Soul level connection?
Soul level connection. I'm not talking about like,
I mean, I don't
I'm talking about to me. Maybe you don't have that to me. I don't know.
Wait, what do you,
like soul level connection.
What does it mean?
What do you hear? What do you feel? Like, what do you feel when I say those? What do you think?
I don't try to like decipher those words anymore because I feel like the words in itself are enough to explain exactly how we're living or how we feel for each other or how our connection is, like soul level connection. I don't want to like, how much deeper do you go than soul level connection?
Yeah, but what does it mean? What is a soul level connection?
It is exactly what it is. It's soul level connection. That's what I'm trying to say. Like,
awesome.
I don't want to go. I don't know necessarily how much deeper you go than.
Well, you want me to go?
Maybe if you say exactly like where you're at in your brain, then I can catch on that and be like, oh, so this is like. So
do we have a soul level connection? Absolutely.
Yes.
Right. I get that. But when I am on the quest for fucking. So let's put it this way. When I wrote down in my impossible goals I'm doing this year is to have a soul level connection with Kendra that is unfathomable to even me right now. Something I can't comprehend. Almost like the theory and conversation of God.
Sure.
Right? Some people, God, you can't see it. It's too big for you to imagine. Yeah. Right? But you can feel it.
Unfathomable.
So unfathomable, right? We have this connection already. This soul level connection we already have, which is great. Like I know this, but I get to talk about the experience that I have. I'm waiting to do this call. Because just straight up, and what I did was I went to a place, I'm not going to mention it because it's exclusive, but like I went and I experimented and started using plant medicine to be able to unlock things in my mind, to deal with some past traumas, to be able to deal with some anger, to be able to deal with the rage. But the reality is I went into this thing to find out who I am as a man, which is the constant question that I ask myself every fucking day.
Sure.
If there's one fundamental question that I continuously ask, like whether I'm with you, next to you in bed, or journaling here or in my office, it's who am I? Like, who am I? So I went on this quest, as you know, to go find deeper about who I am. But when I realized the key to unlocking who I am is me unlocking who I am as a lover. So when I went on this journey, I'll back up. Soul level connection. What does that mean? I think about, I know you're being called to the ocean, surfing, right? And I know you're just a novice, beginner novice at it, right? Mm-hmm. You're learning and learning. But what's going to happen is a piece of your soul is going to be connected to that. I can only explain it maybe in this way for you to feel it, the way of what I'm looking for. You're going to be on this quest for like the perfect set of waves.
Sure.
Right? And it's going to be this feeling, and the weather's going to be right, and it's going to be a seeking, a constant, always knowing, because the waves are always changing. No wave is ever the same. But everyone you want to ride, everyone you want to feel, everyone you want to touch, everyone you want to taste, everyone you want to be part of. And when you think about this wave, I think about it like in my life. So when I wanted a soul level connection, I want to be able to experience something that no one else can experience because it doesn't really exist.
Sure.
But it exists because I'm after it all the time.
Yeah.
And some people can't comprehend that maybe. But what fired me up as the leader and the man, and honestly, when I came back, like we'll talk about the journey and some of the text messages, some of the things I said, what fired me up was the ability to see what I saw.
Which is a piece that I don't necessarily have. Not to say that I'm not extremely, soulful, spiritual in certain things, but I feel like there was definitely part of your brain that was like unlocked. It allowed you to go deeper than you ever have before.
Yeah, well, I might as well share what it was, right? So on the quest for me trying to know who I am as a man, there was this question that I had inside. Like down in my heart or wherever it is, just think about this little box, right? Where there's this one singular question in there, which was, am I really loving? Like, is Kendra just the beneficiary or the benefactor of me being so good at building frameworks? Processes. Mm-hmm. Even though we know I fuck up a lot of processes in the business, but when it comes to running my life, everything's disciplined, process, structured, routine. Did I just build something that she's getting the results of all this fucking work? Because I'm so infatuated with work. I'm so infatuated with winning. I'm so fucking into these things that I created this perfect little world for you to exist in. Not that I didn't love you, like not that I didn't totally fucking worship you, or I don't love the way you look, or I'm not attracted to you. But was I doing it because I thought that's what love was?
A set of like processes, kind of, I don't want to say surface level, because what we have is always been more than surface level, but kind of just like, all right, got to go through the motions, got to make sure this is checked, this is checked, this is checked, like boom, 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 right?
Well, because I built a whole life I built a movement, a business, a life out of tracking everything.
Right.
Stack, track, measure, and win each day. Yep. Right? But if we back this thing up and you go even deeper, if I've never experienced love for myself, how could I know I was experiencing love for you? Sure. If I didn't truly love me, was I really able to love you? Was I really able to love Phoenix? Was I really able to love the girls? Mm-hmm. Now, conceptually on the outside, obviously every action and activity that I took
would say yes.
Mm-hmm. But in that little box, I was wondering exactly how I fit. Yeah. Exactly where I fit inside this, and who the fuck I was as a man who was trying to be loved, right? Or to love himself. So I went down in this question. I know I'm doing a lot of talking on this one today, but we've never really had this conversation, a little bit, but I'm waiting to do it on camera so that it could be realer. And more real, I should probably say something because someone's going to talk shit on here. But what I said, be more. I said something one time and somebody like, fuck, more better. Yeah. Fuck that guy.
More, better.
Yeah, whatever. It is what it is. Anyways, back to the soul level connection. So when I went on this journey, I went under, man, I fought a ton of demons. I fought through a ton of darkness, but the majority of this experience was long. But the first half of it, I asked, who am I? Mm-hmm. And God showed me who I am, or my brain, or whatever. Like, I fully know that I'm met God. Don't really care what people say. My version of what I think the world is, you're going to be able to experience it, hopefully for yourself here in a couple of weeks. But when I asked who I am, and through a series of showing me stuff, it brought me to a picture of you. Right? And there was this, how do I explain it? I'll explain it just by telling what I saw. Imagine what you can see out of your eyes. Like, I can see my hands over here, but like what you can see so big, up, down, around. You're being consumed by this thing. It's almost like it's a never-ending picture, but you can see behind you. Obviously, it's like 360 view of what the world is. And as I stepped into this movie, I stepped into this world of this reality that I was in, the room that it was you. Mm-hmm. And you were laying there. I can't even say laying. Your body, like it was morphing. Your body was the beach. Like I could see the outline. We're actually going to have one of Ryan's friends paint this picture for you so I could have it. Cool. So you were laying there and I could see the outline of the curves of your ass, right? I could see your elbows. I could see it, but it was so big and so magnificent. And on top of it was your hair, but your hair was so fucking long, right? And it was so long and it was like winding and river and it was ever expansive. And I jumped on your hair and I could ride your hair like a river. Mm-hmm. And I went through all of this, like through this back, through these mountains, through the journey, through everything I was. It brought me right down to the center of where you were. And you were standing there naked, only for me to see, but not like full vagina hanging out and tits hanging out. You were like naked in like your purest form. Yeah. And your hair was down, almost like, I guess the picture I've seen of Adam and Eve, what she has, but like, or like an Alanis Morissette video, I think she did a long time ago, right? So, but your hair was down and it was connected and I rolled your hair to this thing and there you stood, standing there open, like in a accepting place for me. And you said, I've been waiting for you. And it was at that moment that I get like emotional on that because I finally accepted this is my person. And I could go on and talk about all the rest of the shit about how we met in these different fucking universes and how you washed my back when I was a fucking a warrior and samurai warrior and things like that. But that's not what this is about. It's not what I saw. It was about the unlocking of this fucking connection. And then as I came to, I mean, you know, because you witnessed it, some of the things I was saying were off the wall. Some of the things were normal. But what came out of it was the ability for me to unlock the freedom to fucking love.
Yeah, it was massive.
And I know I talked a lot about that because I painted that picture. And I know there's going to be a lot of fucking pussies that talk shit on there. And I love you guys because you guys are going to feed it so that the right people can hear it. But there's women out there and there's a man out there who are seeking for this fucking soul level connection. I have plenty of money. My business is fucking cranking right now after coming back here. My kids are good. Our life is good. You're happy. Our sex life is good. Everything about our life is fucking magnificent.
It is.
But we work and I work and I work and I work. But the one piece that wasn't fully there was me. So when I said that I wanted to give you a soul level connection, I wanted to give you a piece of me that I didn't even have.
Yeah.
And it had eluded me for 42 years. And it's not that I just didn't know how to unlock it because it wasn't worth it. So when I say that, right, and I'm after this soul level connection, what I realize is once you felt this, it's almost like, I mean, you won't get it, Ryan, you might get it. Sorry to throw you under the bus, but it's like smoking crack. Right? Or doing coke or chasing this high.
Sure.
And I've been able to take the I know not every day is perfect, right? There's peaks and valleys since I've been back.
Yeah.
But the reality is I've been operating on a higher frequency. These past few days have been tough because it's been depressing out. But the soul level connection is the continuous seeking of that next wave. That's how I wanted to explain it to you.
Yep. I love it. And I think what's really awesome is you being able to unlock that. I'm not going to say you've always like Well, yeah, you kind of have always been a super guarded human being. Like your walls are high. Very, very few people are able to see past those walls or even let inside of them. And me being one of those individuals that has been able to see past the walls and you have let me in, there was still always a piece where it was like, I was just like waiting for the dam to burst, like just waiting for the water to come through. And truly when you got back from that, it was nothing I could do for you. It was nothing that, and maybe that was kind of where a frustration was in some sense. I was just waiting and waiting. And I think I even told you, I was literally waiting for this to happen. I was being patient and I was just being loving and kind and filling you up with everything that I knew you deserved. You just had to wait until you believed that you deserved it also. And then it really, like I said, once that wall came just completely down and you were just like completely open to love and acceptance and passion and truly like living your life in a way where if you were to get hurt, it would fucking kill you.
Sure.
And I think that is what is the piece that we're at right now. Like, it would kill either one of us because we've allowed those walls to come completely down in every single way. But at the same time, what's really amazing about that is we do now have that soul level connection that we get to live through forever with each other because we've allowed that. And so many people are so scared to do it because it is kind of a terrifying thing to let somebody know all the good, bad, you know.
I mean, I had no problem letting you know the good or the bad. I mean, I'll be like a fucking machine gun spraying shit out.
Yeah, you are.
Right? But even that is controlled. My whole thing that I teach is control, right?
That's what I'm saying. So it's like, it doesn't matter. It's just such a freedom, like, that no matter what, this human being is going to love every single fucking part of me. I think that's what I'm like, every part of me. Like, my walls are down. I am completely vulnerable to this human being. And I think that is, so many people are terrified to do that. They like you said, there's always some part of them where they're like, oh no, I am super vulnerable. I am open, but you're not completely. There's always other parts that you can be more vulnerable with. And I think, I truly feel like I have always been that with you. I think I've said it many times before that one of the greatest gifts you've ever given me is the freedom to be my most authentic self.
Yeah, I don't think you have as much fucked up shit inside of you as I do.
don't, and I don't have. So. I'm super grateful to have an amazing childhood. I don't have traumas, that I'm battling with or that I feel like I'm constantly having to work through. I don't have that, and I'm super grateful for that. It's a rarity in a lot of cases, but I feel like I had that. My walls were down when I met you. I allowed myself to be completely vulnerable. And I was good with that. And me showing you exactly who I was, all my quirkies and all the things, and you accepted that and you loved all of it about me. And it made it so much easier for me to be my most authentic self. And I think that you finally being able to let go of that is like, now you're stepping into your most authentic self.
Yeah,
it's ever expanding. There's going to be different portions of your life where it's like levels and levels and levels and unraveling new things about yourself. But it's a truly amazing and soul level connection once you get to that spot.
And then I think a couple of things that I want to talk about, but like in order for me to have a soul level connection with you, I had to have a soul level experience with me.
Sure.
Right? Mm-hmm. In order for me to have a soul level connection with her, I had to have a soul level experience with me. Right? The connection's already been there, but I had to experience what my soul wanted. I had to experience what my soul needed. I had to experience what my soul felt. And I know as I'm a tough dude. I train like I'm a big, so to hear people talk like this, there's so many fucking men out there who think that they need to put this wall up in this garden. And I get it, you do. But at the same time, once I put that wall down and I actually start studying the most peaceful warriors out there, the most badass warriors out there, they're in tune with so much inside of their life that side was missing. Sure. So the reality was the whole code I live by is stop fucking lying. I was truly lying because I didn't want to experience everything about me.
Sure. It's scary.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't even say I was scared. It was almost like you can't even have fear around because there's such a moat of just block and darkness and like.
That's what I mean. It's kind of scary when you.
Why? Like I don't even know if I could experience scared, like being scared because I couldn't even get to it.
Sure.
Like it'd been like every day. Think about like a bricklayer, how he lays a block and puts mortar and lays a block. Like, I've been laying blocks on this shit for 42 years of my life, and then all of a sudden I had to smash through it and do it. And I found that for me, like that soul level experience for me that I'm after is able to give you what you want. And what's cool about it, it's unlocked new shit. Like not to go crazy into our sex life, but even like when I played my playlist and had like I literally was able to be all in with you, and you. I mean, not trying to toot my own horn, but you were fucking in a place that you've never been felt before.
Right. It was really amazing. That's true.
Like every ounce of me, the feel, the massage, the touch, this everything about just the energy.
That's what it was for sure. Yeah.
And to be able to create that, not just in a sexual, intimate, moment, but like through driving in a car, through sending text messages, through being there. Really what it boils down to for me, we talk about soul level connection, is that experience I have to be able to get you to experience me so you could feel the fucking fire that runs through and courses through my veins. Yeah. So there's something else that I wanted to touch base on about how we're able to achieve this.
Yeah.
And this was a big deal for me when I walked in on Monday. I had a call with Garrett yesterday, 2 days ago. And we were talking about it. So Monday I did this, but then we kind of broke down the way that I did it. One of the things about being, let's be honest, I'm a top 1% income earner, a good looking dude, fit, money, successful. I have options all over my world, right? Whether it be through women, business. There's not an option in this world that I don't have. You're beautiful. You all now are also top 1% because of what we built together. You have options as well. Like there's nothing stops us.
Sure.
Other than the choice that's smack dab in the middle of choosing to be together.
Yeah.
But when you can understand, you fully fucking choose somebody, like you fully have them, then you realize you own that choice.
Yeah.
You're not operating out of a place of obligation. How many people are in relationships where they're obligated? I just did a coaching call with a guy today. You heard what we were talking about.
Yeah, I did. He's
wrapped up in this obligation. Failing to overlook the fact of how successful he is, the options he has, the life that he's done, the things he does. What are you hearing when I say that? Like when I talk about being able to truly have options in your life and then choosing the choice of being with me. What does that mean to you?
So I think what's really awesome is I wouldn't have been able to understand the gravity of how incredible it is to have somebody like you with me, us together, choosing each other day in and day out. I wouldn't have been able to understand that if I didn't have other past really crappy relationships, because I can, and I just want to add this part in there because I was always searching for something else and something better. I was like, this isn't it for me. Whatever it was, that's
gonna be a point, right? When you put it out there that some guy's gonna say, yep, dude, she's looking for someone better than you. Go ahead.
Oh, people, yeah, let them do that, whatever. But once I was able to solidify everything that I was feeling for you, and it was reciprocated back. And it constantly is reciprocated. Like you and I are both just on that level of like, all right, he did like boom, boom. It's just a massive I soul level reciprocation, right? And I've never so badly wanted to just dominate life with one individual. So choosing you and you choosing me every single day, because that's really what it is. If you weren't choosing me and I felt like your attention or something was elsewhere, it wouldn't work. And vice versa, right? Like we are unwavering in exactly what we expect from each other, what we want, where we're going. And that in itself has been so empowering for me. Like you empowering me and you, just it's true. I truly feel like I can take on the world in every aspect of my life. It's true. It's incredible. I don't know if I can explain it any more clearly than that.
No, you don't have to explain it any more clearly. Just that's how you feel. It's there's a lot of power. So from my place, when I realized, I used the word options, right? But I made a choice. And we've talked many times about the surface level choices I've made.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not look at other girls.
Yeah.
Although for some reason, it seems like Instagram's always sending me these fucking sex memes.
Robots,
like all the time, robots and like this just like fucking sex things. I don't know what's going on, but I feel like I have a ton of those all the time now. But like the surface level choices of just cutting off any communication with any woman.
Yeah. And vice versa.
Woman, period, or male, period. And I thought a lot about that. And I was very proud of those decisions. But I failed to realize the magnitude of the real decision I made, which was a choice to truly go all in on you. Not the little ones that I did, but the choice to actually choose somebody to do life with. But what's cool about it when I talk about the soul level connection, and you probably don't even get to comprehend this or understand it, but I didn't choose you in this life. I chose you eons ago.
Sure.
And like some people are going to think I'm nuts. I don't care. But what I saw, what I felt, what I know, who I am, you can't unsee it.
Yeah.
Like I know things you don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
You've
seen things I haven't seen. Yeah, there's a multitude of things.
But the point is because at the end of the day, right? Like we're all really kind of energies all over, right? And energy, you can't really kill energy.
Yeah.
You can kill some negative energy and get rid of that shit, but like you just brush it outside. But the reality is this energy that I had, or the spirit that I felt, or what this life that we lived, and this thing that I was like I fully have. What I know is we've been like connected a lot longer than it's even been connected. Therefore, that's why there was such a pull when we got together.
It was so fast, but it was so right. I've always been such a cautious human being, like with everything that I did in my life. I was like, weigh my options.
It was almost like you were lost or we were separated and then found. Like when you lose your kid at the grocery store, she's on the next roll, she comes back, you feel that way. It was just right from right.
And right away.
That's because it wasn't the first time.
And I truly believe that another reason that in this lifetime, in the next lifetime, in every lifetime, I truly know with everything that I'm going to be able to find you, or you're going to be able to find me, without a question of a doubt. And maybe that's, some people, like you said, are going to have like, woo-woo type of people, whatever, but I've never been more sure of something in my entire life than having that connection with you. Like, you are my human being in every aspect of fucking life. And the only reason we have that is because you're able to let walls down. I was able to let walls down. We truly came together in like I said, and in no questions asked. It was like, I feel like I can't really explain it to people because it was more of a feeling than it was me. It was more of a feeling.
So I can explain it very easily. It's the very thing that every person wants, but they don't allow themselves to have.
Sure.
They will not seek. They will not do the work. They will not be open. They put themselves in situations and relationships where they feel like this is the best they can do, or they're doing it for this reason or that reason. And they never truly allow themselves to have the spiritual experience of themselves. They never truly connect with who they are.
I love that you said that, because there was a part of me where I felt like a really messed up individual growing through certain relationships in life. I always felt like I was doing really selfish. I always felt like I was really selfish, and now maybe that was just because of what other people were telling me in certain relationships, but I just knew that it didn't feel how I wanted it to feel. I wasn't living my life the way I wanted it to live. And so when I would pull myself away from those relationships, and I had this like massive amount of guilt, like, dang, maybe I am just a selfish person. Maybe I am just searching for things that don't exist. And you know, all those stories that you tell yourself when you start to believe the people that were hurt. And I refused to believe it, because and like I said, I can't explain it, but it was a feeling. It was something I was searching. It was something that I was intentionally, or maybe unintentionally at the time, because I was younger, manifesting, like constantly, like drawing towards it. And like I said, when you and I had got together, There was no questions asked. There was no second guesses. There was no second thoughts. And what's incredible about that is I had every reason with your past and people coming up to me to have those second thoughts. But it didn't matter what they said. It didn't matter what they said. I couldn't explain this like drawn, magnetic, like I was like, unless he does something massive that like could break this, which you weren't, I was like, then I can't explain, but he's right for me. Like I've never met somebody that was more right for me. And then through all of your actions and through just how you speak and how you walk and how the things you did, and that you were like this rule breaker, but you were also like this super gentle. It was like everything at once. I was like, this is the man that I know I'm supposed to be with. And then on top of it, once we really got together and then we broke down all these little, like, they're not even coincidences. They're I want to say maybe signs from the universe, from God or whatever, that I was literally like, holy shit, how is that even possible? They still show up now too. I was like, how is that even possible that we both have that same date and connection, or that like this date or this date or that tattoo or this symbol or this meaning? I was like, we're like the same fucking human being. Like, I don't know. It's crazy. I don't need to get into that. But I just, like I said, if I wouldn't have listened to myself, if I would have just kind of settled into those places that I'm sure a lot of people settle into, I wouldn't have been able to find what we have.
I want to actually, well, as we'll wrap it up, I'm starting to sweat in here.
I'm toasty.
What's wrong with being selfish?
At the time,
but just before you just answer, think about it real quick. Right. Like, just think about it.
Well, here's the thing. At the time, I didn't care if I was being selfish or not. I didn't like that people were telling me that I was being selfish. And they tried to guilt me and shame me into feeling things, feeling guilty, feeling selfish, feeling, and I was so, it sounds terrible, but I was just like, I do not give a fuck if you think that about me. And maybe I was like super, but I just, at the time, it wasn't, it was more of like, I didn't like the feeling of being guilted into thinking that I was being selfish, or that I should feel bad about, not accepting this person or whatever.
And what sits deeper than that, you didn't even know you were doing it, is you were asking your question of, who am I?
Right.
You might not.
Maybe I didn't know that.
You didn't even know who you were. It didn't feel right. But you were asking yourself a question of, who am I as a woman?
Yeah.
And it didn't feel right because of the weight and the energies and the constraints that were put on you through these relationships.
Yeah. And I wish that I could put it into words, like all the things that because I have pretty vivid, like I can place myself back in those times where I remember just feeling so strongly without really having any reason to feel the way I was feeling. But I felt it, and I felt it so strongly that I just didn't want it, and that it was wrong. And it was nothing that these people, were not like beating the shit out of me. They weren't like terrible human beings, you know what I mean? But I just knew it wasn't right. And when I found you, because I literally saw you in the gym lifting, and immediately I was like, I've never seen this man before. I was so intrigued. I was immediately drawn to it. Immediately,
I wasn't even who I am right now.
The energy that you had around you, I was like, I could not look away. And I followed through, like pursuing you, and I can't explain why it was so easy. I can't explain why I had this magnetism. I just can't explain it. Like that wasn't some like writing on the wall. It was just like a drawn.
Yeah,
and I think that in your journey, if you will, your medicine journey, when you heard me say like, I've been waiting for you, I think that I had always had such a connection, like a more soulful connection to you right off the bat. But I knew that you were guarded in some ways. I felt loved. I felt so loved. I felt so adored. I felt worshipped. I felt all those things, but there was a piece that was still guarded, and I can't explain it, but I just knew. And finally, when that wall came down,
Took 5 years.
Took 5 years. Finally, when you were ready to let that wall down and feel those things, maybe some of the things that I feel, then I think that me saying, I've been waiting for you, like, it just makes sense to me.
Yeah, I don't know that we'll know that answer, but I do know that we're going
Yeah,
to experience a journey and some stuff together. But I was thinking while you're talking about people calling you selfish, like I wish I only got called selfish because I got called a lot worse things like dog beater, narcissist, junkie, drug addict, loser, whatever things, whatever names they wanted to call. That's pretty much what it was.
What's crazy is I've never once, not one time in my entire 5 years with you, have I ever looked at you like an ex-drug addict, like an ex-junkie or whatever. I've never thought that about you. Now, maybe that just means like I'm naive or whatever, or I don't know, but like all those things that people are saying about you, I have never once looked at you and had a red flag go up about like, oh, and I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I just don't.
Well, let's talk about something that really matters.
Yeah.
My boots.
Mr. Cool Shoes.
Now that's all I got for today. So what I want to do though is just wrap it up with people out there. Maybe they're not ready to experience the soul level connection yet, but they're really looking for the connection. And there's a lot of women that are out there that are hurting. There's a lot of men out there that are hurting. We deal with these guys on a daily basis. Yeah. In my opinion, the advice I want to give you, the first step to having any sort of connection is being able to connect with yourself. Asking yourself these questions of who am I, what do I want, and why do I want it? Sure. Who am I, what do I want, and why do I want it? When you can get clarity, and to be honest with you, like I've been asking those questions my whole life. I still ask them every day. It's elusive, just like that soul level connection that I'm trying to create, that everlasting, never stopping, unfulfilling, which is probably the best way to put it, fulfilling quest of greatness. Those questions I create of who am I, what do I want, are the same way. And my advice to anyone out there who listens to this or follows this, who's looking to have a life experience full of love, joy, happiness, craziness from kids, money, success, vacations, whatever it is you want, start with yourself.
I love that. Yeah.
All right, start with yourself. Anything else you want to add?
I don't. I think you crushed it.
Cool. Well, that's it for today's episode of the Comeback Couples Podcast. I'm your host, Mark Jennison, and my lovely wife, Kendra. We'll see you next week.